In the previous class, we have discussed regarding the units of measurements that we are going to use in surveying. The surveying measurements we have seen in the previous class. In the previous class, we have discussed regarding the different your dimension of measurement. In that, we are going to have the one dimensional unit of measurement, two dimension unit of measurement, and the three dimension unit of measurement. Now, in one dimension unit of measurement, we have studied regarding the measurementum of length, right? If we want to determine the distance between the 2 points A and B, how we are going to determine it? We are going to determine by using the chain and tape. Okay, chain, tape, or by using the electronic distance measuring instrument, we are going to measure. Now, the unit what we are going to use in order to measure the length is either in meter or kilometer or in terms of centimeter. Now, this is the one dimensional unit of measurement. In the next is second or a two dimensional unit of measurement. Here we are going to measure the area. Suppose if anybody has told you to measure the area, so how you are going to measure? You are going to measure in terms of length and breadth, or by using the different methods. Okay, so here in terms of area, we call it as a two dimensional unit of measurement. Here we are going to measure the length and we are going to measure the breadth, and then we are going to determine the area. This is your two dimensional unit of measurement. Here we are going to measure the area in terms of either meter square or kilometer square, etc., etc. Then volume is nothing but the three dimensional unit of measurement. Here we are going to have length, breadth, and here we are going to have the depth. Okay, so we are going to, it is since the three dimensions are there, so this is nothing but the three dimensional unit of measurement. Here we are going to determine the volume, which we measure in terms of meter cube. So now in today's class, we are going to see the different units of measurement in that we are going to use in order to measure the length, area, and the volume. Okay, along with some of the angular measurements. So we are going to concentrate our study on the basic units that we are going to use in order to measure the length. We are going to have the two types of a system. One is a British unit, one is a metric unit. Okay, I think you know what is 1 centimeter, how 1 centimeter has been provided. When we have the 10 mm, right, 10 mm, we first will see regarding the metric units. 10 mm is equal to 1 centimeter. In your scale, if you see, there are, in order to make 1 centimeter, right, the 1 centimeter is going to have the 10 divisions in it. So 1 centimeter is equal to 10 mm. Okay, now 10 centimeter is equal to, we call it as a 1 decimeter. 10 centimeter will make 1 decimeter. Now 100 centimeter, right, when we take 100 centimeter reading, it will make around 1 meter. So 10 decimeter will make 1 hectometer, then 10 hectometer will be equal to 1 kilometer, and 1852 meter is equal to 1 nautical mile, and 1000 millimeter is equal to 1 meter, then 1000 meter is equal to 1 kilometer, 1 mile is equal to 1.6093 kilometers. This is in terms of a metric unit. Now in terms of a British unit, we measure in terms of feet, yard, okay, or nautical mile, furlong, acre. Okay, these are nothing but the British unit. So 12 inch, okay, 12 inch is equal to 1 feet, 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, okay, 36 inch is equal to 1 yard. Okay, 3 feet is equal to 1 yard, or 36 inch is equal to 1 yard. Then 100 links of a chain is equal to 1 chain is equal to 66 feet. 150 links, that is 1 chain is equal to 100 feet. Okay, and then engineer's chain is equal to 100 feet. So this is what the British unit system. Here we normally utilize the metric unit system. Both the units we are going to use it. Now conversion factor, we are going to see 1 meter is equal to how many feet? 3.28 feet. See, you need to remember this. 1 meter is equal to the 3.28 feet. You need to remember 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. Okay. Now 1 meter is equal to 1.90 36 yard. So these are nothing but the units of your length in both in terms of British and the metric unit. So you need to remember this, the conversion and all. You need it is going to help, and many students make the mistake in having the conversion, that is 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, 1 meter is equal to 3.28 feet. This you need to remember. Next is the basic units of area. This it will come under the two-dimensional unit of measurement. We measure it in terms of either in terms of square meter or square decimeter, or in terms of hectare, or in terms of square kilometers. So here in terms of metric units, 100 square mm is equal to 1 square centimeter, that is 10 by 10 centimeter, 10 by 10 mm is going to make 1 square centimeter. Okay, then 10 square centimeter is equal to 1 square decimeter, then 100 square decimeter is equal to 1 square meter, then 100 square meter is equal to 1 square decameter, then 100 square acres is equal to 1 square hectometer, then 100 hectares is equal to 1 square kilometer. Then in the British system, 144 square inch is equal to 1 square feet, 9 square feet is equal to 1 square yard, 640 acres is equal to 1 square mile. Right, you need to remember all these things. Now here the conversion factor is going to be important. 1 square meter, okay, 1 square meter is equal to 10.76 square feet. See, as an engineering point of view, meter to square meter to square feet, now meter to feet, these are going to be important for you. Okay, square meter is equal to 10.76 feet, and in terms of inches, so it is 1550 inches. So you need to remember this conversion factor along with these some of the basic units in terms of British unit, and in terms of metric units you need to remember. Next is we are going to study regarding the units of your volume. Volume, it comes under three-dimensional unit. Here the British unit, 1 meter, 1 mm, 1000 mm cube is equal to 1 centimeter. Your 1 cubic centimeter, 1000 cubic centimeter is equal to 1 decimeter cubic meter. Then 1000 cubic meter is equal to 1 meter cube. So this you need to remember. And 1 meter cube is equal to how many? It is 0.9997 kilometers. Then it is in terms of gallons, it is 219.969. This you need to remember. Now we'll see regarding the angular measurements. This is regarding one that these are linear measurements, that is your length, area and volume. Now we'll see the measurements regarding the angular measurements we will see. When we want to measure the angle between the 2 points, we are going to use three types of a system. One is a sexagesimal system, one is a centesimal system, and then the hour system. So one circumference, that means one circle, is going to have 360 degrees. Okay. Now 1 degree is going to have 60 minutes. Okay, 1 degree is going to have 60 minutes. 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Okay, I think you know this. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. Then 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. This is in terms of sexagesimal or system. Then in the centesimal system, one circumference is equal to 400 graduations. Then 1 grad is equal to 100 centigrade. Okay, 1 grad is equal to 100 centigrade. Then 1 centigrade is equal to 100 centigrades, 100 cc. Then in our system, one circumference is equal to 24 hours. Right, one circumference is 24 hours. 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes. Then 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. I think you know this. Now we will see what are the different types of error that we are going to see when we are doing the surveying. Now we'll see errors in surveying. Errors are nothing but the mistakes. Okay. Now suppose we are having lots of sophisticated instrument and all, and very precise and accurate instruments and all are there. But even though when we are going to do a surveying, certain kind of mistakes or errors are going to happen either due to your instrumental error or personal error, or might be it is due to the climatic conditions. There are some errors which are going to occur. Now in surveying also, though there are some of the very good instrument, precise instruments are there, we do some mistakes. So what are those errors in surveying? Now what is an error in surveying is, just I will give an example. Suppose if you want to if you are going to measure say 100-meter distance, 100-meter distance is there, right? Here you are going to have the distance measurement, the length you are going to measure in between the 2 points A and B. Even though the length is 100-meter, if you by mistake, if you are going to measure it as an say 99.8 meter, so this 0.2 meter error, whatever is there, we call it as an or mistake, or we call it as an 0.2 meter, right? So 100-meter length is there, but when you are going to measure, you measure it as a 99.8. So how much error is there? 0.2 meter error is there. So what is the error means? The difference between the measurement and the true value of the quantity measured is called as the error of measurement. I repeat, the difference between the measurement and the true value. Measurement is nothing but this is you have measured and this is the true value. Okay. Now what is the difference is there in between them? That difference we call it as an error. Okay. Now what are the different sources of errors? Okay. There are the three different sources of errors are there. Okay. There are sources of error. I think you have understood what the difference between the measurement and the true value. Okay, suppose if you the distance is 100 meter, but you are going to measure it as a 99.8 meter, then the 0.2 meter is the error. Now what are the different sources of errors? There are three sources of errors. One is instrumental error, next is personal error, and then the natural errors. Okay, what is an instrumental error? Okay, errors may arise due to the imperfection or the faulty instruments. Whatever error is there, suppose if you want to measure something, but you are going to get some faulty or say some error in your measurement. Okay, now the errors, such kind of an errors, if you are going to get due to the instrumental error, right, we call it as the instrumental errors. The errors may arise due to imperfection or the faulty adjustment of the instrument. Suppose if you are on a site, if you have taken your say total your dumpy level, if you don't adjust it, if you don't do leveling and centering properly, and you may get some faulty reading due to the your instrument adjustment, or there is some error some error is there in the instrument, then we call it as the instrumental error. Such kind of an error, so we call it as the instrumental error. Okay, then the personal error is due to the man-made mistakes. Okay, error may arise also due to the human error or the human sight in observing and in manipulating the instrument. If a human does an error when taking the readings or while taking the readings and all, then such kind of an error will considered as the personal error. Okay, for example, error in taking a level reading, then if he does a bad ranging, then if he does improper holding of the instruments, then misreading and booking of the instrument. If he reading something and booking something, then it is going to be the personal error. If he is going to do a bad ranging, then it will be considered as an personal error or the human error. Then if these are some of the errors that a human makes a mistake, then we call it as a personal error. Instrumental error are nothing but due to the imperfection or the faulty adjustment of the instrument. Might be the instruments are having some errors in it, or if the faulty adjustments of the instrument, if it is there, then we call it as an instrumental error. Personal error, if a person does a mistakes in taking the reading, improper holding of the instrument, bad ranging, we call it as the instrumental we call it as the personal error. Then there are some of the natural errors are also there. Sometimes it is going to occur. The natural error may occur due to the variation in the natural phenomena, such as due to the temperature variation, due to the humidity variation, gravity variation, wind, and then a refraction and a magnetic declination. If they are not properly observed while taking the instrument, the result will be incorrect. Okay, if you are not going to observe them properly, there is some temperature, humidity, gravity, due to which your instrument may not show the proper reading. So in such cases, if the error is going to occur, then we call it as the natural errors. Then we will see what are the different types of the mistakes or errors will be there, that we are going to see. In this, there are three types of errors are there. One is it is gross error, systematic error, and the random error. Now we'll see what is a gross error or the mistakes. These are referred to be mistakes or blunders either by a surveyor or due to the assistance it is going to occur, and or due to the carelessness or the incompetence with the instrument. These kind of mistakes are going to occur. On a construction site, the mistake may be frequently made by an experienced engineer or by the surveyors who are not familiar with the equipment and the method they are using. Sometimes the surveyor and the engineers, we may not be the familiar with the what method they will be using, then such kind of mistakes or the gross error may happen. These types of error include the miscounting the number of the tape length, and then wrong booking of the readings, then citing wrong target, then measuring the angular readings in the anti-clockwise direction, then turning the instrument incorrectly. Okay, such kind of the mistakes may happen, and the gross error can also occur at any stage of a survey when observing, booking, and or plotting, and such kind of an error may occur. The gross error can be eliminated by taking some careful actions while booking and while consistently checking the operations. Okay, the error it can be minimized. The first thing is the careful, what are those steps is the careful targeting of the objects, then taking the multiple scale reading, then whenever you are going to record something, recorded or loudly announcing the reading so that the reader hears what he records, then taking the additional readings for checking. So if you do such kind of things, then you are going to reduce the different kinds of the errors or mistakes that you are going to have, do. Then the second is your systematic errors. Okay, these errors are cumulative in effect. Right, now what is the cumulative? Suppose at one reading there is an error of 0.1 meter is there, right, and this is first reading, you are going to take it as 0.1 meter, and this error is constant. Now second reading you are going to take some reading. Now again the plus 1 meter error you are going to do. Now your reading will be 0.2 meter. So when you are going to take the number of readings, this 0.1 meter error will remain. So, and at the end, suppose if you have taken the 10 readings, then in each reading you have done the 0.1 meter error. Now this 0.1 meter error, you have taken it the 10 times. So you have taken 10 readings, 0.1 meter, in each reading you have done a mistake. 10 times you have taken a reading, then you will get an end with the 1 meter variation in your reading. At the end you are going to get an error of 1 meter, which is nothing but equal to 3.28 feet, which is a very big. The systematic errors have the same magnitude, okay, as I have told, it is going to have the same magnitude, and it is in series of measurements that are repeated under the same conditions. Okay, you are going to have the constant error that you are going to repeat the number of times, but at the end you are going to get the wrong reading, if which might be either positive or which might be either negative. Okay, now method to remove this systematic error is to have the calibration. Okay, removing the systematic error is to calibrate the observing equipment and the quantity, the error allowing corrections to be made to the further observation. So whenever you are going to take the next observation, what you need to do is you need to calibrate the instrument. Next is the random or compensating errors. We also call it as the accidental errors. The accidental errors are those which remain after the mistakes and the systematic errors have been eliminated and are caused by the combination of reasons beyond the ability of the observer or the control. Even though you have removed the systematic error or the mistakes, the error due to the mistakes, even though if you have removed, it is beyond the control of the observer. Okay, they tend sometimes in one direction and sometimes in the another direction. That is, they are equally likely is the difference between the true value of the quantity and the determination that is free from mistakes and some systematic error. Okay, they obey the laws of chance and therefore must be handled according to the mathematical laws of probability. So this is nothing but an accidental error which is not beyond accidental, or the compensating error which is not in control of the person who is going to take the observe the things. So make mistakes, then a systematic errors, it is in cumulative mistakes, it is due to the human or the instrumental error, and this is due to the cumulative errors, and then this is which is not in the control of the your observer. So these are the different types of mistakes or the errors, types of error that we have seen in today's class. In today's class we have seen the different units of measurement, and we have seen what are the different types of errors, what are the sources of errors, and how to eliminate it. Okay, in the next class we will see regarding the precision and the accuracy. Okay, thank you.